What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Next Level Talks. Bah, 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 bah. We ain't got no sound effects? I could do my own sound effects. Yeah, let me get some sound effects, man. Welcome to Next Level Talks. I don't hear it, but they can hear it. It's all good. Hey, look, y'all. Hey, this is a real live. Let me button my shirt up. This is a really live experience, y'all, and I'm glad that y'all are tapped in with us tonight. I've got a lot to share. Tonight we're talking about what they can hear now.
Yeah, we gotta do effects.
I don't hear it, but they can hear it. I love it, man. What's up, y'all? Hey, do me a favor. Do me a favor. I need you to do 3 things for me. I don't ask so much. I want you to subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Like if you've already subscribed, just put subs in the chat. If you're a subscriber, put subs in the chat. Prince, let me know in just a minute, man. I know I got Prince and Jerry with me. I love it. Yep, my guys. So let me know in the chat who the subs are that's tapped in with us so far, and just start shooting the names out. But please subscribe, right? Because that way, when we release this content, it can come directly to you, and you gotta like it, because that lets YouTube know that people are rocking with it. And definitely, please, you gotta fire off the notifications so you get notified when I go live. All right, where we at?
We got Isaac Butts, Candy Bradshaw, Razil, Ando Alstel, Alicia Caldwell,
I love
Russell
it.
Daniel,
love it.
Brandon Weaver.
Okay.
We got a bunch of stuff.
Good. Glad y'all are tapped in, man. So thank you for subscribing, liking, and hitting the notification button, man. I am excited for tonight's topic. I believe that for many of you, it's gonna help shift you to a whole nother level, right? I have talked to a lot of folks that's just like, man, Jay, I'm struggling with self-doubt. You know, like I'm really not sure if it's possible for me. Like I think it is, but I'm not sure. And tonight we're gonna deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Tonight we're gonna talk about like that self-doubt. We're gonna talk about like where that might have came from, how can you overcome it, so that you can move past that barrier and go out here and be who you called to be. Because if you're questioning if you're supposed to be here, if you're questioning even if you're worth it, then it's just like you're not going to be able to put your all in, because you don't expect for you to be here in the first place, right? So we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about how to overcome that self-doubt. We're going to talk about how you can shift that mindset so you can be everything God has called you to be, so you can experience everything you're supposed to experience, and you can make the impact that you've been called to make, y'all. It's Next Level Talks. Let's go.
You go out here and you clean your seat.
Oh, I just touched down, now it's time to celebrate. Super Bowl in Vegas, this where the big steppers play. My whole squad will paint the town, but they don't decorate. And my work a bit excessive, check my resume. Keep it a C note, if I'm speaking, I'm the keynote. Super Bowl in Vegas, this where the big steppers play. My whole squad will paint the town, but they don't decorate. And my work a bit excessive, check my resume. Dance.
Man, so before we get into tonight's topic, I do want to take a moment and highlight some of our students in the academy. Shout out to all of the folks out here getting busy, man. Y'all do me a favor, if you're not a hater, man, show Dr. Patrice Buckner some love, y'all. Y'all see the Dr. Patrice Buckner Jackson. You hear me? $60,000 in 2 months. Come on, man, y'all show us. Are y'all putting some hearts? Are they putting hearts in the chat, Prince? Come on now, you know what I'm saying? Because what God has for you is for you. So we're gonna celebrate what He had for her, and we are not going to be jealous. We're gonna celebrate when other people win, because it's just like, hey, I don't know what work, what sacrifices, what efforts, you know what I'm saying, she had to put in, you know what I'm saying. But go ahead, Queen, and you know that God gonna bless you as well in the right time. So shout out to you, Doc. And Jonathan Medina, man, $30,000 in repeated bookings. Imagine a world that you can live in. And Jonathan's been doing great work for years, man. He's truly a great human. Imagine you just getting throughout the year $30,000 of already repeat money. Like, you didn't have to do no outreach, nothing extra to earn it. They worked with you in the past, saw your value, and brought you back. Such a beautiful thing, man. Such a beautiful thing. So look, y'all, tonight I'm excited because this is a topic that a lot of people over the last few weeks have been requesting that I talk about. And it's overcoming self-doubt. And let me just first say, I get it. Before I go in, I want you to know, like, I get it. I see you. I do understand, you know, how challenging it can be for you to believe and expect and receive, you know what I'm saying? Like, you might question what's possible for you. Like, I get that. So I do want to first acknowledge that. And let me also say this, you know, when you think about like self-doubt, here's the reality. And some of you all have heard me share this before. When I read this article from the National Science Foundation, it blew my mind. The average adult human has between 12 to 60,000 thoughts per day. Of those thoughts, 80% are negative and 95% are repetitive. Take a moment to think about that. The average person has tens of thousands of thoughts per day. 80% of your thoughts are negative, 95% are repetitive. So the doubt, the self-doubt that you are trying to overcome, that you're struggling with, that you have, truth be told, you've had that for years. You know, you might have doubted yourself when you was trying out for the basketball team or for the cheerleading team, or you might have doubted yourself with your first business, or doubted your worth or your value from a previous relationship, or maybe you got fired from a job 8 years ago and how everything kind of went down is making you question. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of deep-rooted stuff there. I don't know if y'all picking up what I'm putting down, but like, I've talked to 2 different people this week, and because of what they're dealing with emotionally, like personally, it is affecting their work and what they do day to day. Like, I've got some friends that's like really struggling mentally, emotionally from things that might have happened 10, 15, 20 years ago. And so sometimes this self-doubt that we have, it comes from, you know, past traumas, past experiences, you know, stinking thinking, negative thoughts. Like, it can come from a lot of different places. But I think the first thing that we have to realize is, I think we have to acknowledge it. I think the first most important thing we got to do is we got to acknowledge, like, okay, I got these thoughts. These thoughts are negative. This is really not how I should be thinking. And then this is really what God thinks about me. Is this really what God says about me? That's what you got to ask yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember I had some thoughts over the years, and I'm like, is this what I'm saying about myself, or is this what God is saying about me? You know what I'm saying? I was just like, one of the two. Like, is this what God is saying, or is these my own internal thoughts? And then once you realize you have your thoughts, and you realize, okay, I've got probably some deep-rooted issues that I have to figure it out, and it's like, okay, now I need to address it. And so when you talk about overcoming self-doubt, think of the term, self-doubt. It doesn't say overcoming peer doubt. We didn't call it overcoming spouse doubt. It's not overcoming follower doubt. It's not overcoming family doubt. It's overcoming self-doubt. So, like, why are you doubting yourself? Is it because you've been talking about something for the longest time and you still haven't done it yet? Like, you got to identify, like, okay, why am I doubting myself? And then you got to ask yourself, do you think it's really, truly possible for you? And some of y'all might be like, no, I don't, which is why I'm doubting myself. Okay, but why don't you? Do you not think you're worthy of success? Do you not think you're worthy to get booked? Do you not think you're worthy to get paid to speak? Do you not think that you're worthy of a great relationship? I've met some women over the years that's like, man, Jeremy, I'm in my 30s, I'm in my 40s, like I haven't found a husband. I'm not ever gonna get one. I'm like, well, why do you believe that? Do you not think that you are worthy of it just because it hasn't come yet? Delayed is not denied. Like this self-doubt, it's self. It's like what we think about ourselves. And we now know from National Science Foundation that most of our thoughts are negative and the vast majority, 95% of them are repetitive. It is time for us to tell ourselves a new narrative. Period. It is time for you to tell yourself a new narrative. It is time for you to say, you know what, I don't think like this no more. You know what, I don't process this stuff no more. You know, I feel like it was probably about maybe 8 years ago when people started talking about manifesting. Maybe not even that long ago. I feel like manifestation has like blown up over the last maybe 6 years, 7 years, right? And I remember somebody was just like, people out here speaking manifestations and having affirmations that they do daily. And I remember telling that person, I was like, what's wrong with that? That don't do nothing. I'm like, let me tell you something. The power of speaking life, the power of affirmations, the power of manifestation. It's saying I'm going to take control of those negative thoughts. I'm going to take control of the way I was thinking and processing things before. I've been thinking negative for a long time. I should recite some affirmations in the morning. I should write something with some doggone lipstick or a Sharpie marker on my mirror that says you are amazing and you will be whole and you will be healthy and you will be healed and I will find love. My husband is out here somewhere. You better write them doggone scriptures on your mirror. You better remind yourself. You better put the promises of God on sticky notes all over your house. You put the promises of God in a little note and put it inside your shoe and you walk and you stand on his promises every single doggone day. Most of our thoughts are already negative. So anybody that has negative thoughts about affirmations or manifesting, there is nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, there is power in that because if you think it, you can believe it, you can believe it, you can be it. And so I'm telling you, I remember talking to somebody like, if everybody out here manifesting stuff and speaking affirmation, but if you don't get no work done, I'm like, bro, it starts here. It starts here. What you think is what you say. What you say is what you do. What you do on a regular basis becomes a habit. Your habits create your character. Your character determines your destiny. It starts right here with what you think, beloved. So affirm yourself. Speak life to yourself. Encourage yourself. You know what I'm saying? Support yourself. Pat yourself on the back. You know what I'm saying? You give yourself a doggone high five. And you remind yourself every day that you are a child of the King. You remind yourself every day that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You remind yourself every day that you are a force to be reckoned with. You remind yourself every single day that you are a beast and that you are strong and that you are dominant and the only option is to win. Because after everything you've gone through throughout your whole life, you still here, you still standing, you still strong, you ain't in no coffin, you in the land of the living, boo-boo. You are still vibrant and free, bruh. Like you walk in that strength. So all this self-doubt, you gotta deal with it. Figure it out, capture it, address it, cast them negative thoughts down, and you remind yourself on a daily basis. You remind yourself, you say, I am worthy of love. I am worthy to be successful. I am worthy to be a six-figure speaker. And then I'm gonna prove to God that I can be diligent and trusted with that, and he's gonna help you make 6 figures a quarter and 6 figures a month, doggone it. Like you gotta believe it. And before you believe it, you have to do some mindset work. I feel like when I be doing my trainings and workshops and people get ready to join our programs, I feel like half of it ain't even a training. I feel like half of it is mindset, helping them to believe this is possible for you. It might not pop off until year 2. That's a possibility. It could pop off in month 4, but it's just helping people believe what is possible for themselves. And so that's my word for you today. I need you to believe what's possible. You know what I'm saying? I need you to believe it's beyond possible. And then I need you to look at a whole bunch of other people and you ask yourself, if they could do it, if they could figure it out, if they could crack the code, if they could find love, if they can experience success, if they can overcome this, how come I can't? When I read in the Word of God that God is not a respecter of persons, meaning he don't have favorites, he loves all of us equal. When I read that and I realized, like, man, the same thing you did for this person, you could do for me. It might take longer. It might not quite look like that, but I ain't gonna put no more limitations on what God to do. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, beloved. When I realized how much he loved me, let's just talk about that for a minute. Past what you think you can do. Because some of y'all is like, I think I can do it, but you might not even be questioning yourself. You first questioning God. So now you got to ask yourself, like, do you really believe that he has what's best for you? Do you really believe that when you was inside your mama's womb, there was a plan he had for you? If you really do believe what the word of God says, that when you was knitted inside your mama's womb, before you was given birth to, there was a plan that he had for your life. If you really believe that, like, that's what we got to start. So before you even get to the self-doubt, some of you might have God doubt. You got the GG, and I ain't talking about Gucci, baby. You got God doubt. You're not this GD. You got God doubt. You're doubting what God can do. Listen. I promise you, as I'm looking at people day to day, and they trying to navigate, they trying to maneuver through life, and it's like you trying to fight these thoughts and go through these thoughts. You got to ask yourself, okay, are these my thoughts or these are God's thoughts? Okay, if they're not my thoughts, okay, they're not God's thoughts. Okay, yep, it's the enemy trying to discourage me. Then you got to ask yourself, okay, but what does God's word say? And what do I believe he wants to do for me? Like, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to ask yourself that. Like, you got to make it more personal for you and take him at his word. You know, it's not going to happen when you want it right away, but it is possible. You know, and some of you are like, well, it ain't happening just yet. Well, listen to me. Brian, I hope you don't mind me calling you out, bro, but I was just on an academy call, a live Q&A academy call here in the office, and Brian, one of the members from our community in Inner Circle, shout out to you, Brian. Brian was just like, man, Jay, like, you know, he stopped doing donut runs last year, November, so he ain't did no donut runs in 11 months, but he's wondering why he's not experiencing the full success in schools. Well, you got the website, you got the speaker reel, you got the EPK, all that's fire. You just stop knocking on them doors. He said that so far, total throughout his speaking career recently in the last year or so, he has maybe 30 to 40 donut runs. But watch this. I just talked to somebody a few days ago, and they was just like, yep, I'm going to do 50 donut runs in the month of November. I'm like, wow. So some of y'all might be doubt. You might have self-doubt, like, oh, it's not working yet. Well, you ain't even worked it yet. Does that make sense? Y'all put make sense in the chat. Prince, what are they saying? Tell me what they're saying in the comments, because I feel like I'm just talking to this Nikon camera right here. But let me know what they're saying in the chat.
Mildred Singleton said, amen. Trina Salgado said, Mr. Anderson, teach. Tia Banks said, makes sense, Jay.
Tia. And T, you got me over here smiling and grinning. Good to know that you're with us tonight, T. Love you, sis. So that is our Dallas chapter president. So President Tia Banks. So that's what I would say, y'all. You know, you need to really ask yourself, like, okay, are these my thoughts? Am I taking on someone else's doubt? That can happen too. That can happen too. Some of y'all was probably like, I'm gonna do this thing, and this might not even be for some of y'all that's into speaking. This might be on some entrepreneurship, relationship, period, whatever. You might be like, you was excited about something, but then somebody got in your ear. Oh, girl, you know, it's dry out here. You ain't found no husband yet. It's gonna be hard. Oh, bro, entrepreneurship, man, that ain't for you, man. Or like whatever that negativity that maybe they gave you, they wasn't trying to hate. They was just putting their limited beliefs on you. And now that I planted the seed inside your mind. And now you wondering and you questioning, you guessing like, man, this is like not good. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, you taking on all the negative stuff that they were sharing. And so you really want to be mindful about like who you lend your ear to. I was very intentional about what I allow my brain to consume. Y'all know I celebrated my 15 years walking with God 2 weeks ago. I was recently asked on a podcast interview, like, how did you stay the course and not end up into pornography and some of all these other crazy things? Like, how did you end up, like how? And I was just like, man, I just guarded the avenues of my mouth. So I watched what I consumed No drinking, no smoke. My eyes, it was certain places I didn't go. It was certain things I couldn't see. It was certain people I wouldn't follow to keep my intentions and my heart pure. My ears, I was working out to gospel music. Lately, I've been going through some things that really got me. I'm in there with the Kirk Franklin. I'm in there with the Fred Hammond. I'm in there with the Richard Smallwood in the gym. Because at that time, my brain couldn't consume Jeezy. You know, and so you have to be very intentional about the avenues to your soul, especially those of y'all that's already kind of in that weird in-between space. I'm just sharing you like through my journey. Some of y'all might have family members, you might have friends, you might have people that's speaking negative. You might be consuming negative, weird, crazy stuff on TV. Like, man, you need to be very intentional about what your ears, your eyes, your brain processes in this season. Because why? Because we are naturally, as humans, are wired to survive. We're naturally wired to be pessimistic. We're wired to be cautious. We're wired to be fearful. That's just how we're naturally wired as humans, flawed humans. We're naturally wired to preserve ourselves, you know what I'm saying, and expect the worst. It's like a protection mechanism, right? I don't want to go too deep, but naturally we are wired like that. So now you have to ask yourself, like, okay, well, if I'm naturally wired like that, I have to be very intentional about being outgoing and up, and you know what I'm saying, and optimistic about things and excited about things. And I have to start expecting the best for myself. You have to train your brain. You have to literally retrain your mind, you know what I'm saying, and how you're going to think and how you're going to process things. And for some of you, it could be friends, it could be family members, it could be a spouse, it could be loved ones, or you can have people in your corner believing in you, saying, you got this, bruh. I see great things inside you, man. I've always seen it, but you're just still solely doubting yourself. Or you might be doubting God, but these are the things that we have to figure out, and these are the things we got to deal with. So for some of you, thank y'all for subscribing, for liking, and for hitting the notification board too. Appreciate y'all. For some of you, your call to action is like, okay, I've been doubting myself. What's been causing me to doubt myself? Well, my thought process, my mind process, like who I have around me, some negativity or just my own thoughts, you know what I'm saying? And some of you might say, you know what? I ain't even really been doubting myself. I've just really more so been doubting what God gonna do. Here's the reality. You might doubt yourself. You might have self-doubt. Don't have God doubt. Oh, I like the transition. I felt it. I should have opened up the show with that, Jerry. I should have opened up the show with that. We not bump self-doubt. I got self-doubt. Did y'all hear me? Yes, Jermaine Anderson, your coach, your big brother, your friend. I got self-doubt. Still. I ain't got God doubt. I don't doubt what God, I doubt what self can do. When I tried it my way, y'all know what I like to say, I lost. When I tried it Yahweh's, I start winning. I don't have confidence. I'll be conning myself with confidence. I don't have confidence. I got Godfidence. So some of you, as I'm transitioning now, everything I share with you still makes sense. Don't get it twisted. I'm just taking a completely different angle now. I'm putting it all on God. Because his word says that his strength is made perfect in our weakness. So the weaker we are, the more we depend on him, the more he can come through from that. What a promise that is. What a promise that is. That I feel good. You might not. I feel good knowing that I serve a Savior that's like, you know what? As weak as you are, it's okay, because take my yoke upon you. You know what I'm saying? And learn from me. He's like, you put that burden on me. Watch what I do. The weaker you are, the stronger I can become, because I'm not going to let this crush you. I'm not going to let this kill you. I'm not going to let this hurt you. I'm not going to let this harm you. I'm not going to let this embarrass you. So I know you feel weak and frail, but his word says that his strength is made perfect in your weakness. So the weaker you are, the stronger he can be. And so for those of y'all that's like, okay, you might have self-doubt, that's fine. Just don't have God doubt. Just don't doubt what God can do. Just don't doubt how he can provide and he can rescue and he can take care of you and he can not just help you get ahead. He can blow your mind. He is the God of Ephesians 3:20. Now unto him who is able to do exceedingly and abundantly more than you can think or ask by his power that worketh through you. So yes, you might have self-doubt in your own abilities. I ain't got that much doubt and I ain't got that much power. I ain't got that much belief in my abilities. Just don't have God doubt. Don't doubt what God can do for your life. Because if you think about about it and you look at the long track record of the 24 years you've been alive, of them 36 years you've been alive, of those 52 years you've been alive, if you really look at everything that you've ever faced, everything that you've ever gone through, everything that kept you up at night, everything that brought you to tears, if you really look at the long track record, you will see, man, he's come through for me every single time. I'm still here after the diagnosis, after the job loss, after the eviction, after the divorce, after the cancer, I'm still here. You have a 100% survival win rate on everything that you ever come across. So you might have self-doubt. You might doubt your gifts, your talents, your skills, your abilities. That's fine. Just don't doubt what God can do for you. Because God messed around and come in. God messed around and touch that thing. God messed around and start opening some doors. God go from giving you grace and mercy to saying, I am going to now favor you. I see the work. I see the sacrifice. I see the belief system. I see the leap of faith. Let me show you I ain't going to have my kids out here struggling and begging for bread. Let me show you how I come through and take care of mine. I want you to have that energy. So you might struggle with self-doubt. That's okay. I do too. Welcome to the club. I'm the vice president of the Self-Doubt Club. I don't doubt God though. I might doubt self. I might doubt man. Man will let you down. Woman will let you down. People will disappoint you. Folks will break your heart. You know what I'm saying? But all God does is win. It might not always look like it. It might not always feel like it. There are times you're going through something you like, but Jay, this don't feel like a win. Well, his word says that all things work together for the good. So what we really talking about then? His word says that everything you're going through is going to work out for your good. So now you need to ask yourself like, okay, let me just reframe my brain and how I'm even thinking and processing this. What they saying in the chat, Prince? Talk to me, man. Read me them comments real quick.
Pamela Scott said,
Don't even say the name. Just tell me what they're saying.
wow, don't doubt God. I'm still here. True.
Oh.
I'm still here.
I'm still here. Listen to me. I want y'all to stay the course. A lot of times we talk about killing the self-doubt and trying to figure things out and do things differently. It's just like, you know, we are going to question ourselves at times, you know, but just don't question what God can do. All right. And so now you might say, okay, God, Jeremy, I know what God can do. I know he's going to take care of me and look out. I'm just now questioning my abilities, or I'm questioning, you know, my skills. Well, there are some things you can't put on God. Let me be clear. There are some things that are your responsibility. Like, it is your responsibility to grow in certain areas. It is your responsibility to work on things. It's your responsibility to get the healing. You know what I'm saying? It's your responsibility to get the therapy. I had a counseling session yesterday, and I had one today. I did them suckers back to back. You hear me? I am committed to being as whole, as earthly possible, as strong, as locked in, as mentally clutter-free as possible, right? And so, you know, it's a lot of this responsibility. Yes, we're going to put that on God. Don't you doubt God. But also, you know what I'm saying, don't doubt his plan and how he's going to use you. But you got to do what you got to do on the front end to make sure you take care of you and you put yourself in the best position to get blessed, to get opportunities, to get the resources, to get the support. Like, whatever it is that you need, you put yourself in the best position to be able to receive that. That's my word for you tonight. So those of y'all that's dealing with self-doubt, and it's hard with a message like this because it could be self-doubt when it comes to speaking, self-doubt when it comes to relationships or being a great parent, or self-doubt when it comes to building business. Like, that thing was broad. Y'all didn't say a specific self-doubt, but you got to just ask yourself, okay, whatever that thing is you're doubting, did someone else have it? Did someone else experience it? Did someone else create it? Did someone else, you know what I'm saying? Like, do they have it? Like, were they able to experience? And if you say yes, then you say, okay, why not you? And then you might have to look at their life and how long they've been doing it, with work that they put in. But you got to just believe it is also possible for you. But where a lot of people go wrong is they see someone else winning, they see someone else doing something cool, and they say, man, I really want to do that. But then they don't understand on the back end all the things that they had to go through to even put themselves in that position, right? And so you want to be mindful of that. But my advice to you when it comes to overcoming self-doubt, a few things. The word of God says, think of these things, whatever is true, whatever is lovely, whatever is noble, whatever is praiseworthy, whatever is kind. Like, think of these things. There's a reason why his word says, think of whatever is true first. Why? Because there's a whole bunch of lies we be listening to. So put your thoughts on positive things. Put your thoughts, you know what I'm saying, on prosperous things. Put your thoughts on the side of what if it does work out, as opposed to what if it don't work out, because that energy right there will take you out. Okay? So focus on what will work out and not what will not work out. I want you to put your focus there as you were kind of shifting, you know what I'm saying, your brain, your mindset, you know what I'm saying? Like you want to be fully locked in on positivity, fully locked in on this possible, fully locked in what other people did it. So I know it's possible, right? Why not me? And if you can't shake that, you'll never do it. Because you know what they say, if you think you can, you can. But if you think you can't, you can't, right? So you want to be intentional about really, you know, being mindful of the thoughts that you think, the people you surround yourself with, the circle in which you run with. There's so many folks that's in the Speakers Academy now, y'all, that's looking around and seeing other folks. That self-doubt went out the window. It's like a little bird that flew away. Because they up in the Facebook group of the Speakers Academy, they like, I'm seeing too many people that is experiencing success. I know it's possible. I don't know their stories. That could have been a 3-month journey. It could have been a 3-year journey, but I'm seeing other people. Like, you got to just surround yourself with other people who are doing it, other people who are positive, other people who are making moves, other people who are successful, so you know what's possible. You know what I'm saying? Like proximity will equal your velocity. So the more people that you're around that's doing well, that's making moves, it is going to enhance you and take you to a whole nother level. All right, so I want you to be mindful of your thoughts. I want you to be mindful of the environment in which you place yourself in, because that can have a really big effect on your life, you know what I'm saying? And I want you to also shift from thinking you might not have you might have self-doubt, to just as long as you don't have God doubt. Don't doubt what God can do. You know what I'm saying? If it was possible for me, it's possible for you. And you got to just put that work in and do your part and trust the process as you flow and trust the process as you grow. And we're going to look up and we're going to see you go to a whole nother level, man. I'm excited. Let me take some questions now. We are at the halfway mark. I want to take some questions. I want to hear what you got to say, what you got to ask. Put your question in the chat, and my guys will call on you, and we will address your questions right now. We got some ready?
Yep.
All right.
Landy Stubbs wants to know, is it wrong for my main motivation to be successful is by seeking revenge on the haters who doubted me and said I would never make it?
Landy, I ain't mad at that, Landy. I ain't mad at it. I feel what you're saying. Landy is like, is it wrong that my main motivation to be successful is by seeking revenge on the haters who doubted me and said I would never make it? Now, when you say seeking revenge, you mean like revenge, like you're successful now, right? If that's the case, I ain't mad at that. And let me tell you why I'm not mad at that. Now, somebody else might say something different. Let me tell you why I'm not mad at that, Landy. You know CJ, right? Dr. Eric Thomas, right-hand man. He's a coach. He hosts coaching calls. I think he just had one, matter of fact, a few days ago in the academy, the Speakers Academy. So, Landy, CJ says that he is not fueled by the possibilities of the future. He's not fueled by one day I could buy this house or one day I could buy this car. He's fueled by one day the money could run out. One day I could not be successful. One day I could not take care of my kids. CJ said that he is way more motivated by his nightmares than he is his dreams. Think about that, Landy. So he's like, some people are motivated by their dreams. I'm motivated by my nightmares. So everybody finds different motivation. So I know, Landy, you're not going to just become successful in speaking only for that. Like you want to speak, you want to be successful because you want to live a life of purpose. But you want to experience that next level and to let them know, like, it's not enough just for you to get a check. That check is cool, but for you to be successful and all the dollars say, whoa, man, I'm seeing her on this podcast. She was on this show. She done wrote a book. She's been doing a speaking tour. Like whatever it is, like, and they see like, yeah, don't ever doubt me. Like that's okay to have that motivation as long as your heart is in the actual work that you're doing. All right, great question. Let me get the next one.
Trina Salvador wants to know, please tell me, what is a donut run?
Yeah, so the donut runs are what I recommend people in the educational space to get opportunities to speak in school. So it's something I created. Now I say I created it, but I'm sure somebody before me thought to go to a school and give them free donuts as a way in. But for me, fun fact about me, Trina, in my early 20s, I used to want to be a pharmaceutical rep. For whatever reason, I figured like I could make 6 figures a year and I can kind of use my personality and gifts, right? This is before I was living a life of purpose. And I realized from one of my friends who's a pharmaceutical rep for this big pharmaceutical company, for them to get appointments with the doctor, they would go in with tickets to the game, that NFL or NBA team game, right? Or they would go in there like with massage gift cards, or they would go in there with a gift card to a restaurant, like to book the appointment with that doctor who had the power to, order their drugs and make a lot of money for their company. He knew, let me come in here bearing gifts. So I kind of took that with the thought of, man, it's better to give than to receive. So I knew teachers and principals, administrators, like they like donuts in the morning. I started doing donut runs, and I would pull up to a school with a half a dozen donuts with my EPK. EPK is electronic press kit taped to the top of it. And I would show up at the school and I would be there and I would say, hey, here are some donuts. My name is Jeremy Anderson. I came to bring breakfast. You let them ask you who you are and why you're there. Okay, Jeremy, and why are you here? Well, I'm a national motivational speaker, and y'all are right here in my backyard. And I said, we should know each other. And I stay right there, and I let them say the next thing. And the next thing I know, I'm looking for a meeting with the principal or one of the administrators or the guidance counselor, but that's where the donut runs are. And so I tell people that's in the educational space for the first year or two to really get out there, to really connect with the people. Yes, you can call. Yes, you can email. Like all of that is cool. You can send DMs through social media. That works. But there's something special about pulling up to that school, giving them something, and the people at the front desk are like the gatekeepers. So they tend to know who the principal is, when they coming in, when they available, which one you should get with, who's the best principal to talk to. Like they have all those details. So that is the donut run. I hope that was helpful. Next one.
Alicia Caldwell wants to know, how do you push past doubt? Sometimes it takes a great deal of inner work to shatter old beliefs and attitudes.
So I don't know. I think that question might have already been there because that's exactly what I was just talking about. How do you push past the doubt? Sometimes it takes a great deal. Oh, I think she was answering the question. I think she was answering that for people. Okay, good. How do you push past the doubt? Sometimes it takes a great deal of inner work to shatter old beliefs and attitudes. Absolutely, Alicia. So I get it. That wasn't a question. You were more so putting the question there that I was proposing to the people, but making a statement. So that's it. Just to expound upon it, there is a lot of inner work that has to take place. A lot of inner work, you know what I'm saying, to really put yourself in the best position. And you know what's cool, Alicia? I won't name the person, but there's someone in our community, and she was experiencing so much success. The revenue that she was generating, it was a little shocking. She actually needed counseling or to meet with a counselor to even help her kind of even process like, okay, this is different. Now that's a different type of problem to have, which really isn't a problem, but I'm just sharing it like even that inner work when it comes to success. There are some people that experience a lot of success and then they feel like imposter syndrome and then they start self-sabotaging. Like, let me tell y'all something, man. Some of y'all's careers and business gonna go to a whole nother level as you internally and personally go to a whole nother level. And that's why I'm doing the heart work now and the mind work now within my personal life. And I've always done it, but I'm still doing it. Did y'all hear what I told y'all? I had a counseling session yesterday and then I had another one today. Like I am serious, you know what I'm saying? And so that inner work is important for all of us. And so I would say get the help you need so you can be as strong and as whole as possible. All right, next question.
Candy Bradshaw wants to know, how does self-doubt relate to fear or vice versa?
Yeah, good question, Candy. So let's think about it. So self-doubt is doubts and thoughts, but a lot of times the fear that you might have can trigger the self-doubt, or the self-doubt can then bring in the fear. You know what I'm saying? And so, because it's like, okay, because you have self-doubt, now you fear of being a failure. So now you're not even really trying to pursue it. and then you kind of pursue it, but don't really give it your all. And then when it don't works out, you're like, see, but it's really, you kind of self-sabotage yourself because you had self-doubt and then you had a fear of failing. So you really didn't give it your all, but the little bit of efforts you did give wasn't enough, but you don't even realize that you kind of tricked yourself from giving it your all, which is really why you wasn't experiencing success. So you might be thinking, see, it's not possible. It's like, no, it just wasn't possible for you to get past the fear of failing, and you didn't do it afraid, and you didn't really give it your all, which is why you weren't successful. And so it didn't have anything to do with what's inside of you, but it had everything to do with the mindset inside of you. So I would say when you look at self-doubt, Candy, and you look at fear, I think there are some people that fear failure, so now they're doubting if it's really even possible for them. So I would probably say it's vice versa or one the same. I think the important thing is to say, okay, is this fear warranted? Why do I have a fear of failure? Okay, so what's the worst thing that can happen? Come on, y'all, listen to me. You got to start having real conversations with yourself. And some of y'all are so smart, you are so deep, you love people, and you got something positive to say. Some of y'all should just have a conversation with yourself. You should look in the mirror and you should say to yourself, you know what? I really don't think it's possible for me. And then you will say to yourself, give that somebody advice. Because if somebody else came to you and said, okay, I don't think this is possible, you will have encouraging, motivating, and inspiring words to share with them. Some of y'all need to preach to yourself. You need to speak to yourself. You need to motivate yourself. You need to encourage yourself. And really say, you know what, where is this coming from? Why do I have a fear of failure? Okay, what's the worst? So Jeremy, what's the worst thing, Jeremy, that can happen? Well, you can launch this new speaking business and it cannot work out. Okay, so what, people are gonna think you were a failure? Like what, I don't really care. Okay, so what's the worst thing that can happen? I guess I could, lose some time and lose some money and energy. Okay, but is there anything else? Like you gonna die or you gonna lose your family? It's like, nah. So it's like worth it. Because I would rather say, hey, I tried. I would rather say I pursued my goals. I would rather say I gave it a shot. You know how many successful billionaires that had 2, 3, 4 companies that went under, that was not successful, but they just kept trying something new? I got one of my homeboys now that was just on the New York Stock Exchange. I would not be surprised if he a billionaire in a couple of years. Do you know how many companies and startups he had before he was on this one? Like sometimes that's what it's about. So we got to ask ourselves, okay, this fear of failure, what's the worst thing? I'll listen to me. I want to die knowing I gave life my all. People will be at my funeral and say, man, Jeremy gave life his all. Ain't nobody gonna say, I mean, he kind of went in, but he was afraid to really fully jump off the porch, bump that. And so sometimes that self-doubt and the fear of failure, they can be vice versa. One can trigger the other. The important thing is we say, okay, where are these thoughts coming from? We grab them thoughts captive, we deal with it, we cast them down, and we believe what's possible. We put ourselves around the right type of people who want to speak life into us, and then we find and connect with other people who is working out for them, and it's only a matter of time once you adopt that mindset and adopt their tactics to where you can experience success in whatever aspect of life. All right, great question. Let me get a few more.
Isaac Butts wants to know, is there a time when you had trials outside of the business that begin to challenge you, your character and endurance? How did you guard your heart, your mental health, and avoid imposter syndrome or self-doubt?
Let me tell you something, Isaac. Is there a time when I had trials outside of business? Now. Jerry, now. You hear me? Isaac, Prince, now. I ain't even really dealing with business challenges like that. Shh, come here, y'all. Come closer. Y'all. I'm not even, the challenges, when I'm meeting with my counselor and therapist, I ain't talking about business stuff. So yes, bro, I promise you, I feel like my life has been, as I'm building business, I'm also breaking down barriers, you know what I'm saying? And I'm overcoming internal obstacles, and I'm growing and crying and trying to figure it out and getting counseling and still pushing forward so I don't lose my mind and I don't lose my character and integrity, right? It takes work. And so how did I guard my mental health and avoid imposter syndrome or self-doubt? So for me, it was really my mental health. That was the biggest thing I had to guard, because when you got mental health good, you can then tackle imposter syndrome, you can tackle self-doubt, you can tackle all of that once you have, saying your mental health in place and your mental health intact. And so for me, you got to have whatever regimen. So for me, I of course I wake up in the morning. I go to bed somewhere early. I wake up super early. I have time to myself before I'm dealing with the world. You know what I'm saying? I work out, which is like therapy to me. I go to the sauna maybe twice a week. Well, 3 times a week, which is like therapy to me. I set boundaries. I don't make myself as accessible. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting counseling, whether it's personal counseling or marriage counseling. Like, if y'all realize y'all got some gaps, like you gotta plug the holes. You know, so I was just talking to one of my guys recently, and he was just testifying at how a year ago his business was struggling and his marriage was struggling. And I told him, I said, I ain't gonna hold you. I said 70% of your efforts need to be in your marriage right now. Y'all put amen in the chat if y'all felt me. My man was like, bro, the speaking business is struggling. My marriage is struggling. He was just like, I'm trying to like 50-50. I said, no, 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 no. The minimum 70% effort you put into your marriage. Maybe 80-20, depending on if your wife stay at home wife or entrepreneur with you, but if she away at work. But all your other energy, minimum 70% should be in your marriage or home, because when your home, I told him, when your home is good, when your environment is good, now you can think clearly, you got good energy flowing, you got support coming from your support system. It is hard building up a business, you know what I'm saying, while you barely holding on to your marriage. And so whenever somebody, Isaac, has personal issues or, you know what I'm saying, challenges outside of the business, you know what I'm saying, that begin to challenge them, I always say, like, you got to address that. You got to attack it. You got to deal with it. You got to get the support, the healing, the help as you're building up your business. But it really depends on what those personal things are outside. And for me, I set boundaries. My phone was on all time, do not disturb. I be missing calls from people I want to talk to. I'm like, shoot, I miss your call, doggone, do not disturb. But at least the 18 other people that tried to reach me and I didn't have the bandwidth for time to talk to them, it didn't stress me out and my anxiety ain't go through the roof because my phone was always blown up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm setting boundaries. I'm taking care of myself. I'm not feeling bad about it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm taking the time to rest. I'm taking the time to read. I'm taking the time to grow. And so as I'm growing within, now I got more bandwidth for Tracy, Jewel, Jackson. I got more bandwidth for the family, for the company, the business, because I got more bandwidth here. It all starts right here. So I would say prioritize you, but whatever those other things are outside of your business that's beginning to challenge you and attack your character, like you might have to put the business on pause for a little bit. I'm not saying pass up no speaking engagements, but you might have to say, I'm not going to be doing as much outbound and outreach for these few weeks. Let me plug these holes. Because for some of you, you know what I'm saying, speaking and dealing with personal stuff, it's like you in a boat and you got cracks and you got holes to plug. And it's just like you trying to row that boat, but you also trying to plug them holes. Oh, come on, that's good. Listen to me. Some of you, it is like you're in a boat. And the business is rowing. You want to row. The more you row, the farther you get. That's the business. But you got holes, and you sinking. If you don't plug those holes, you gonna sink. So, and I'm not even just talking to you, Isaac. To everybody, if you got holes in your ship, it is okay to take that paddle, put that paddle down to the bottom of the boat, and plug them holes so that you don't sink. Because you definitely ain't going nowhere. Then when you plug them holes, now take the time to scoop that water out and get that water out of the boat so you ain't got that extra weight weighing you down. Then you get back to rowing. All right, I hope that was helpful. Let me get a few more.
Reed wants to know, Reed says, I met you last Atlanta meeting and you blessed me on self-doubt. I got my first speaking gig on November 30th. It's free, but I don't have a website, EPK still working on a story. Should I pass until I get a website, EPK, etc.?
No, you definitely should. And it's already free and they want you to speak. So you go and do that engagement. But just know, because that ain't gonna make or break. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's only benefits and pluses. Now, here's the thing. There are gonna be some people there, if they like what you say, Reed, they might say, hey, I would love to have you speak in my event here. You get their information. You know what I'm saying? And you tell them, yeah, I'm updating my website. Or you say this here, I'll have a brand new website coming in a month or so. I'll be sure to email you my information. Now, they don't know that brand new website is your very first brand new website. You know what I'm saying? But nah, you definitely take that engagement that is coming your way. That's a blessing. We're excited. We're proud of you. I'm sure the people are celebrating you in the comments. If not, y'all got caught slipping. I know y'all listen to me, but we're gonna celebrate that free speaking engagement. You got more to come, and it's only a matter of time before they paying you, and they paying you your price, okay? Because they see your worth. But nah, don't pass up on on that until you get the website EPK. But I also would not start reaching out and emailing people and telling people about your business until you have that stuff in place. Okay? All right, who we got next?
Maximal Cruz wants to know, how long did it take you to transform your mind?
Man, good question, bro. I'm still transforming my mind. So, 44 years. Think about it, bro. Even when I was in the streets, you know, I had to transition my mind from just, I'm sure I'm hustling and making a little money here to thinking enterprise. Like, shoot, if I can move this many packs, I got 2 nightclubs during the daytime. One of the places was like a restaurant, so we was moving work. I'm thinking my mind was expanded. I was transforming my mind into like, as opposed to just being a hustler, like, no, I'm gonna be a businessman. Then when I meet Christ, I transform my mind again, where it's like, okay, I don't hustle no more. Like, I'm not just chasing paper, I'm chasing purpose now. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to transform my mind then. And then I was just in a lot of churches, in a lot of schools, speaking there, still working. But then I had to transform my mind when I realized, like, man, God is calling me to like do this full time. Like, God is calling me to speak. So I had to transform my mind from like just speaking here or there and just speaking for free, or maybe 500 or 1,500, to saying no. Like, I know my worth. I know my price. Like, this is what I need now. I had to transform my mind then. Then I had to transform my mind when I quit my job and my wife quit her job. And it's just like, okay, we full time doing it now. And we like real entrepreneurs. Like, we really paying taxes. Like, we better put some money aside. I had to transform my mind then. And then when I went through marital issues, because Tracy was dealing with health challenges and we were bumping heads and we weren't really seeing eye to eye. And we were getting marriage counseling. And she wasn't happy with me and I wasn't happy with her. And really, it came down to money was tight because we quit our jobs to go full-time speaking, and this entrepreneurship is hard. And I was just like, okay, well, how do I not lose my business and lose my marriage and lose my mind? I had to transform my mind then. You know what I'm saying? And so as I look through all the different seasons, and even now, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, it's one thing now to say, okay, Jeremy, you are a successful 7-figure motivational speaker. But then I started 2 other companies. And so it's like, okay, you a CEO 3 times over, Jeremy. You got literally 3 different companies and a nonprofit here in America and one in the States, where you got 5 different organizations. I had to transform my mind when I got to that point. You know what I'm saying? And then when I said, okay, I'm gonna launch, this is before I launched the Next Level Speakers Academy. I had a whole Next Level trucking company. We had a whole bunch of 18-wheelers on the road driving down the highway. You know what I'm saying? And then I would wrap the trailers. So one side would promote the Speakers Academy eventually, and then the other side would promote our Next Level Living podcast. Like, so I had to transform my mind when it came to marketing and branding, but then I had to transform my mind when I launched the Next Level Speakers Academy. Because I'm thinking like, whoa, this is not just a community. Like, we're building something different here. We're shifting the culture in the world. We're changing lives. Like, I realized, like, bro, you got thousands of people that's depending on you, Jay. You got hundreds of people that you've helped quit their job and now are 6-figure speakers out here getting, I guess, it's a lot that's riding on you here. So throughout my life, Maximo, I had to transform my mind. And so it's not something where it's like automatically clicks. It's just something that's constantly growing and constantly evolving. And so there's always new growth. There's always new things to learn. There's always new things to figure out. There's always new expansion. There's always new things to pursue, new goals, new opportunities, right? Like, so yeah, so it took me a long time to transform my mind to where it is now. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm transforming my mind. Now I'm transforming my heart. Like, it's a lot of different things that God is kind of doing with me and through me throughout this journey, bro. And so we gonna be like that till the end, bro. So yeah, you don't never stop. You should always be growing. You should always be learning. You should always be reading. You should be constantly getting whatever help, whatever support you need. You have a safe place to process your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. You have people who can hold you accountable and have real, honest, raw conversations with you. You should always be transforming your mind and how you think and how you process things so you can experience life on the next level. All right, let me get two more questions and we're going to call it a night.
So this next question is in reference to the donuts. Pamela Scott wants to know, so go to the school, not the district office?
What's up, Pam? Yes, absolutely. Go to the schools because the district office ain't really set up like that. People be busy. I've been to district office for meetings. It ain't like that. This is for the schools. Yep, great question. This is for the schools.
All right. Megan Anderson says, my question is, how do you deal with overcoming others' old view of you when you are stepping into a new season that doesn't reflect the old you? Everyone can't disappear and pop out as the new them.
Yeah, so continue. How do you do it in the same setting for somebody? So I'll say this, Megan. For one, my advice to you is to make plans to move. My advice to you is plans to move. You need to move from where you are, and whether you make the move somewhere in Atlanta, somewhere in the outskirts, I want you to be prayerful and make a plan to say, I'm about to have a whole nother level of independence, meaning I'm leaving the city I'm in to go to a new land, a new city, a new place, a new territory. That's the first thing I will say. Because it is so much harder to show people, you know what I'm saying, like their old view of you when you're a new person stepping into a new season. Here's the reality, like they can't really see what's going on up here. They see your home, they see your parents, they see you at the same places, so they think like you the same person. But here you're gonna unlock something. Well, you'd be surprised what you unlock here when you move to a new city. I lived in Huntsville, Alabama for 20 years, and I felt it was time to move because I wasn't growing. And the city was holding me back, and the city was putting limits on me. And the city really felt like this is as big as it gets. And I was like, nah, God got the globe for me. It was not until I made that move. When I moved from Huntsville, Alabama to Atlanta, I've been here for 11 years now. And everything in my life shifted and changed. So it might not necessarily be this city. I'm just saying you might need to move to a new environment, even if it's a new town over or a new job, get some new friends, but really planting yourself in a different location, a different place, that is going to be very important in this new season. Because everywhere you say everyone can't disappear and pop out as the new them. And some people might, but if ain't nothing really changing about you, you know what I'm saying? Or people can't really see the physical manifestation. Now, how you have conversations can be different. How you respond can be different. The level of access that they have to you can be different. You know what I'm saying? Like the places that you go and how you move and how you handle yourself, all of that can be different. You know what I'm saying? So is it possible to show them that you changed and stay in the same environment? Yes. But I'm not even telling you to change environments to prove anything to them. I'm telling you to put you in the best position. Oftentimes, 9 times out of 10, when you've been in one environment most of your life, it's just like, okay, let me uproot myself. Let me leave this city. Let me leave this town and go somewhere else and plant myself somewhere else so I can grow and flourish. And so, because I know you, that is my advice to you, is to go where you can grow. If you feel like the city that you're in right now, you are not growing, and you feel like everybody around you only sees the old you, and no matter what you say to them, no matter what you do, no matter how you move, and that is still too much of a mental barrier. If you can't just be like, you know what, bump what you're saying, this is who I am. But even outside of that, is that area conducive to your growth? Here's another question. Megan, even if you look to say everybody around me is being negative, what if all of them was really being positive? Do you really feel that the area you were in, the energy around you, is conducive to your growth? If it's not going to help you go, then you got to hurry up. If it's not going to help you grow, you got to hurry up and go, just like that. All right. I hope that was helpful, man. We got another one in there. Yeah. Let me get 1 or 2 more.
We have DNF Speak. How did you build your confidence to deliver your keynote speech? Do you use any visual aids like PowerPoints or cue cards?
Man, great question, D. So for me, I do not use any type of PowerPoint. presentation or keynote unless I'm like doing hardcore teaching. So when I went and spoke for the Ford Motor Company, like I showed pictures, I gave a short history lesson. I let them know like I did some research and data. I gave them some stats. But 9 times out of 10, I just go and I flow. It's here and it's here. And I've asked the questions on the front end, so I know. And I'm gonna share this with you if you're not familiar with you, and this is gonna help you build more confidence. Some of you all are not confident when you speak because you're nervous when you stand in front of the people. You're not quite sure how they're gonna receive you, if you're gonna get your words right. And then some of y'all are like, "No, I'm good with that. I just want to have confidence with the depth and the knowledge that I have." Those are two different things. There are some folks that can have all the depth and knowledge, but they're nervous standing in front of people. Then there are some people that's like, "Oh, I don't mind standing and speaking in front of them. I just want to make sure that what I'm saying is making sense." So when you ask questions on the front end, what's the purpose for the event? What's the theme of this event? How many people are going to be there? Tell me the average age. Help me understand the demographics. What's one thing you wish you could change within your company? How do you want your employees to feel after I speak? What 3 things would you want them to learn from my presentation? Why did you even book me as a speaker? What keeps you up at night? How can I add the most value to your organization? Once you ask these questions and you get all this insight, now you're building out your keynote speech. Listen to me, you can be up there ready to flow. Right? And so the only time I'm going to have some cards is if I need to kind of have more structure and order and flow. So when I roll out my framework of occupational integrity, I can literally give that speech and just flow. But when I first started doing it, D, I would have the joint up. Here's the first question you got to ask yourself. Click. Do I do my job efficiently and effectively without anybody having to watch me? So I read the question to them. The question stays there, and then I talk about it for 6-7 minutes. And then I say, you might say yes. The next question, boom. Do I do my job efficiently and effectively at the highest level without anybody having to monitor or micromanage me? Then I talk about that for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes. And I say, you might say yes. Here's the third question, the occupational integrity. Do I do my job efficiently and effectively at the highest level without anybody having to watch me and micromanage me, and I don't need the praise, credit, or accolades? Then you hear the audience say, ooh. And now I know I'm going to speak about that point. And then I go to the next one, and I go to the next one. And as I'm building out these frameworks of questions, I use that as but now when I speak, I can just flow because I've given this presentation, this framework so many times. And so for those of you all that's just not cue cards, I would not have no cue cards. Be like, yeah, so the next thing I'm gonna talk about today, yeah, it's this right here. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that, right? But I would definitely say to have, some points or a phrase or a point 1, point 2, point 3, and then that statement up on the screen, and that way you know what to talk about. But I would not have 45 slides unless you're doing like hardcore teaching, a workshop, or professional development. Just those 5, 6, 7, 8 different things you're gonna share. Maybe you wanna remember, okay, when I talk about this point, I need to hear a story, or maybe it's 3 different stories throughout the presentation. You might have something that says story time, boom, story time. All right, so let me tell you this. And it's just one glance for you. It's a glance for you to say, okay, this is where I'm going next. But for them, it serves as a visual aid, and those go a long way. Studies have shown people love visual aids. So though I'm nice with it and I don't necessarily have to have slides, I'm sure a lot of organizations, if I could say, hey, I'll take a poll, how many of y'all would like me to present this with slides? Most people will want slides. Most people will want visuals. And so I would say that's a good way to, as you begin to start speaking, to build your confidence in the structure and the flow, is to have a PowerPoint keynote presentation with a few of the main points, nicely designed and branded, to help you kind of flow and stay structured. All right, we got one more to take us home.
All right. Gabe Leroy wants to know, how do you encourage mid-speech when there is a distraction from your day or during a story? How does the adrenaline remain?
Let me think. What? How do you encourage? Maybe he meant, how do you stay encouraged mid-speech when there's a distraction from your day or during a story? Okay, so I guess I'm speaking, and then there's a distraction from my day. That would have caught me at the beginning, not mid-speech. but maybe there's something happened. Maybe there's just distractions, or maybe I'm just distracted from the day. How does the adrenaline remain? Um, so the adrenaline, like that can be a thing. It cannot be a thing. I think for me, one thing I really try to do is to always speak with depth and passion. But as I'm speaking with depth and passion, there are gonna be times I'm not gonna give you a whole bunch of energy for an hour straight. So there are times I have to pace myself as I'm giving my presentation, and distractions come often. Sometimes you might. It's been times I was speaking for a school, and students were distracting, or cracking jokes, like laughing and being a big distraction, and it was really distracting me. And it's been times I had to call some students out. You know what I'm saying? Or I had to like call out that group in that area. You know what I'm saying? And just really kind of challenge them, like, hey, now see, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, I came here to give you a message to help you become successful. I'm not the enemy here. You know what I'm saying? Truth be told, there are people that hope you drop out of school because they invest in private prisons. And if you drop out of school, it's a 70% chance that you're going to end up in jail or in prison. And if you go to a private prison, they actually will make money. They actually invest in that. There are people that hope you are not successful because they're going to make money. But I want you to be successful so you can make a great living for yourself. And so I spent times I've had to stop students in the middle of a presentation. They were being rowdy, disrespectful, and kind of bring them back in. But then there have been times when I've taken the stage, and maybe I just got a call, or maybe I just talked to an employee, and maybe I just got some news that was really frustrating, or something that put me in a really bad mood, or something that really ticked me off. Like, it's just like, okay, now I have to shift focus. I have to shift gears. I've literally been to some events that were like major, and they played my wrong speaker reel, and it just messed me up. And now I'm thinking, like, how did they get this reel? Why would they play this reel? This ain't even the right reel. It killed my little intro. Now I'm irritated. I'm pissed off. But I had to say, you know what? Let me stay. Let me not be distracted for too long. Let me move past how I'm feeling. This ain't even about me right now. So I've gotten bad news. I've had things go wrong with tech. I done had, you know what I'm saying, people call me up when I wasn't supposed to be up. It's like, bro, you said so-and-so was going to present this award to the mayor, and then this person was supposed to sing, and then I was supposed to come up and speak. And you calling me now, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, things sometimes happen. So I don't even think I won't even address how does the adrenaline remain, because I can't even answer that question. I would just say this: you just need to always be ready to pour into people, to show love, to speak life, to encourage, to nurture. Like, you just need to be ready to go. At the end of the day, point blank, period. Like, when it's go time for you and it is time for you to stand in front of the people and speak, you just need to be ready. And distractions are going to come. Things are going to happen in the middle of the program. Things are going to happen in the middle of your speech. You're going to get a call. You're going to get some bad news right before you take the stage. Like, life be lifing. It's gonna be times you're gonna be in a really, really good mood, and if something gonna happen, it's like, man, now I gotta go up here and speak. Well, you better Taylor Swift that sucker. Shake it off. Did y'all know that's where I was going? Is that corny? You better Taylor Swift. Shake it off. You better shake it off and grab that microphone and give them a message. You grab that microphone and pour into them. You grab that microphone to speak life. You grab that microphone and go in. You grab that microphone and love on them. You grab that microphone and set the captives free. Like, you do your job. You know what I'm saying? You got to show up. You know what I'm saying? Do I have to remind you of the Jordan when he had the flu game? Do I got to remind you when Kobe tore his Achilles and still went to the free throw line to hit them shots to give his team the game winner? Like, sometimes things happen, but can you still show up and do what it is you've been called and purposed to do? That's really the question you asking yourself, Gabe, and for everybody else. And that's what I need you. Let me give out my last few moments. I want to share a few things, right? Like, are you prepared to show up and do what you're supposed to do every single day? That's what this is all about. Challenges, hard times, distractions gonna come, but can you still show up and handle your business? Unfortunately, the world we live in, things ain't gonna always be perfect. Things ain't gonna always work out the way you wanted to. That ain't the world we live in. Like, things are going to go wrong. The question is can you still show up and handle your business? You are going to fall down. The question is, can you get back up? You are going to get hit. The question is, can you become healed? You know what I'm saying? Like, you are going to get some setbacks. The question is, are you going to bounce back? You know what I'm saying? Like, some people are going to push you aside. The question is, are you going to step back in line? You know what I'm saying? The ball is in your court. What you gonna do with it? You know what I'm saying? Things are gonna be hard. Things are gonna be challenging. But that's when that warrior inside you has to come out. You know what I'm saying? That's when that power, that strength inside you has to come out. That's when you can say, okay, God, this is way more than I can handle. This is way more than I can bear. I need you to come through for me. Show yourself strong and mighty. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you have to do. You have to get to a point where you say, you know what? I only got two options here. Either I'm going to win or I'm going to win. Period. You have that mindset. Like, there is no defeat. There is no failure. You know what I'm saying? There is no loss. There is only victory. It is only possible for me to go up. It might take me a whole lot longer than the average person, but it is only a matter of time before I get what I'm supposed to get. Like, that's the energy I need y'all to have. Things are going to go wrong. Things are not going to work out how you expected. What you going to do about it? Ain't nothing about my life been smooth. Have I been blessed? Have I been favored? Yes. I was literally just on stage a few nights ago feeling so stupid, crying my eyeballs out. And I don't really mean that. Like, I'm a man. I'm a man's man. I would still cry. Like, don't get it twisted, right? But I was literally on stage because they asked me, like, man, how's your journey been walking with God for the last 15 years? I said, man, it has been painful but rewarding. And I just kept saying, I said, man, it has been this season of my life has been very painful, but it has been very rewarding. It's been filled with joy, and it's been filled with pain. It's been filled with laughter, and it's been filled with tears. The word of God says it rains on the just and the unjust. You know what they say, right? You can't appreciate the sunshine without the rain. You get 2-3 cloudy, rainy days. When that sun come out, you be like, oh, the sun is out. But when the sun been out for the last 8 weeks, you just walk outside and you just get used to it. Like, life gon' life. But when we're able to navigate life, when we're able to navigate those challenging spaces, when we're able to navigate that really hard thing that we're going through, like when we're able to navigate that, that puts us in a really strong position to even be an even more powerful speaker. So now the things I'm overcoming now, the things I'm learning from counseling and therapy, the areas in which I'm growing personally, I'm like, oh, when I put this in my presentation gonna be that much stronger. I'm like, oh, wait till the 2025 version, February of Jeremy comes out. You know what I'm saying? When I'm able to implement some of these different things that Dr. Dell is telling me, like, it's growth, y'all. So some of you, it's just like, man, I'm dealing with some things. This is really hard. This is really challenging. It's just like, yeah, but that's where your strength comes from. Like, that's where, you know what I'm saying? That's how you're going to be more stronger. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you're going to get bigger. That's how you're going to build more muscle. And now when you stand on stage, you're going to have a different type of sound, and you're going to be able to add a whole nother level of value. You're going to have a whole nother depth that you can speak from because of what you've gone through, because of what you endure, because of what you've experienced. Are y'all hearing me? Are they talking to me in the chat?
Yes, sir.
What they say?
They are saying, hold up, gotta refresh it 1 second. Thank you, Jeremy, 100%. Facts, 100.
Yeah, come on, y'all. Like, for real, it's gonna be, it's life, y'all. Life be life. And before we leave, I wanna pray for you throughout this journey. I appreciate y'all tapping in with me. I'm gonna say it again. Like, I don't take it for granted. Y'all taking the time out. You know, I got the team here. We got the lights. We got everything set up to create a space for you where I can just add value, share what God has placed on my heart, and then answer questions. And all I ask is that you subscribe and you like it. You set the notification so that when I do give you this resource and I add value to your life, it can be available. I ain't selling nothing. I ain't offering you nothing. I ain't got nothing but insight and prayer. That's it. Let's pray right now. This topic of self-doubt, God, this is something that they have been waiting for and looking for some time now. So I pray for the doubt that they might have for themselves. But some of them, God, may be doubting you. And I pray that after today, when they really do a deep audit of their lives, God, they will realize that it's nothing that they can't do because it's nothing that you can't do. And so I pray that though we might still struggle at times with self-doubt, because it's a lot that we can't do with you. Your word says we can do all things through you. So we might doubt self, but may we not doubt ourselves. I pray for those that's in crisis right now, that be dealing with distractions in their personal lives, and they might be under attack with their families. And I pray for the marriages, and I pray for the different unions and relationships and the business partners. And I pray for their mental health. I pray for their mental bandwidth. I pray for the spiritual grit, their strength, Lord. I pray that you give them the energy, the drive, the push to keep showing up every single day. I pray that they would give themselves grace. Many of them, God, are doing the best that they can do. I pray that they will give themselves grace, God. I pray that they will stop beating themselves up. I pray they will stop comparing themselves to other people. I pray that they will log off and do a 30-day break or fast from Instagram and social media, because they're filling their brain with what everybody else is doing, and they feel like their efforts, though their efforts are the best they can do, they feel like they're not good enough, Lord. So there are some folks tonight that need to probably do a pause and do a fast off social media so that they can go into 2025 with a clear mind and a sharp brain and with clear insight from you. So, Lord, you know what it is that they need. You know what they're struggling with. I just submit them to you now. I pray for all the relationships. I pray for all the speaking businesses, for all the organizations, for all the marriages, for all the children. And then I pray for the plans. I pray the thoughts, Lord. I pray for the ideas. I pray for the business ventures. I pray for those contracts coming in the future, Lord. As we're showing up, doing our job and doing our work every single day, we trust and believe that you're going to do your job and you're going to bless our efforts and save us when you come again, Lord. We thank you. Thank you for my team. Thank you for Jerry and Prince being with me. And thank you for everybody that's tapped in with us now. Bless us and keep us. And man, I'll see them in a couple of weeks. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Man, thank y'all. Thank y'all for tapping in with me. I will see y'all. Let me tell y'all when. We got the poll. We got the topics?
Yes, sir.
All right, what are they? Let's do a poll, y'all. Let's do a quick poll. Let me give y'all a few topics. I think I have 2 more scheduled before the year is out. I'm going to be on sabbatical all of December. So there won't be any next level talks in December. I don't think. I might do a special one in South Africa. We'll see. Maybe I'll do an end of the year, like a New Year's Eve party. Would y'all like that? Y'all let me know in the chat if y'all would like an end of the year next level talks, like something to really get you going for next year. Are they saying they want that, Prince? Let me know.
They are, and we do have a poll and a winner.
The poll was already going?
Yep, the poll was already on.
Okay, I love it. Team is on it. All right, what was the poll saying?
So the questions were, I do not feel supported, the art of releasing to receive, and how do I communicate with my spouse? And the winner was the art of releasing to receive.
That's going to be a good one. That one is going to be November 20th. November 20th. So in about 2 weeks, actually 3 weeks. Yeah, because I got out of town. We got a mastermind. Then we got a 3-day virtual summit coming up. And you guys will get some information about that. But let me tell you now, November 11th through 13th, we are doing a 3-day virtual summit. Shoot, I should have ended the video with that, Jerry. But it's all good. They'll see it via email. I just not thought about it. But November 11th through 13th, we're doing a 3-day virtual summit with myself, Dr. Eric Thomas, CJ, his right-hand man, the brains behind Dr. Eric Thomas, Jessica Lundy, Laura Castleman, Tim Ross. Listen to me, y'all. This 3-day virtual summit is going to be special. That's November 11th through 13th. So you'll see some information about that next week. But after that, November 20th and then the 22nd will be our last 2 next level talks of the year. You don't want to miss it, man. I'll see y'all in a few weeks. Be blessed. Peace.
Type of person. He's helped hundreds of people reach 6 figures, reach 7 figures speaking.
This is a guy that's going to give us the tools. He's going to give us the wisdom and knowledge on how to get to the next levels.
Look no farther. Jeremy Anderson is your guy.
What's up, y'all? Jeremy Anderson here. Check this out. For over 15 years, I've been privileged to travel and speak across the world, speaking on some of the biggest stages.
MDRT.
Giving a message that's changing lives and transforming hearts. This 3-day virtual summit is an invitation for you to take control of your future and to take control of your destiny. Now here's the reality. My calling, my purpose in life is not to be the best speaker. It is to train, equip, mentor, and coach the next generation of speakers.
Jared's got $500,000 speaking.
Carla Alonso, $50,000.
Jennifer Marcus, over $720,000.
Jeremiah Brown, over $500K.
And I believe that can be you.
Welcome to the stage, Jeremy Anderson.
We did not just luck up. We did not just pray our way to get to this place. We have a framework. And over these 3 days during this live, interactive virtual experience, we're going to show you the framework to show you how you can change your life and change the world with your message and your story. Let me, E.T., and our other guest speakers show you the art and business of speaking so you can become a 6-figure speaker. We'll see you there.
It's about to get real dangerous. It's about to get real dangerous.